Hey everyone, it's me Joji, and today we're getting a little crabby with our deck. And I'm not talking about the crabby Pokemon, but actually it is a crab in a sense. It is Klawf. It is a rock crab. Crazy that I don't actually think it has any water type moves at all, but Klawf. I honestly had hoped that this guy would have some sort of like Tera card or something at some point, because he is one of the Pokemon you see in Scarlet and Violet who is just a gigantic version of himself because he ate the Herba Mystica. But anyways, Unhinged Scissors does 30 plus 160 more if Klawf is affected by a special condition. And that is actually super simple to do with Poison from our Brute Bonnet and its Toxic Powder ability. So as long as this has a Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached to it, you can poison both Klawf, if it's in the active of course, and your opponent's Pokemon. So in order to attack though, we do need 2 energy. So we're going to use double turbo energies, but that does lower damage by 20. So instead of doing 180, we're actually doing 160. But you have to remember that we are poisoned, right? So they're going to take an extra tick of damage. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's add on some more damage from our own attack using Binding Mochi. This does 40 more damage if the Pokemon that's this card is attached to is poison. So instead of 160, it's actually 200. So now it's 210 because of the poison tick damage during Pokemon checkup after the attack. But if we have something like a Radiant Hisuian Sneasler on the field, that is actually 2 more ticks of damage per Pokemon checkup. So it's actually 230 damage. That is a lot of damage. Just that extra ticks of damage can knock things out like Pheasantipede EX, Miraidon EX. Of course, Raikou, you're already hitting for the 200, and you're just 1 tick away from that Raging Bolt EX. So it is a really good effect to have this Klawf Unhinged Scissors attack with a Binding Mochi, and then obviously the poison tick damage and extra if you have the Hisuian Sneasler on the field. But of course, we can't just rely on Klawf, especially since we only run 3 of these. So we have some backup attackers in the form of Hisuian Electrode V. Now this actually used to be in a deck where you would have maybe 2 or 3 of these guys and then 4 of the Klawf, using Spicy Curry because Tantrum Blast does 100 times more for each of the special conditions affected this Pokemon. So you would use Spicy Curry Food, I believe it was the card, and it would essentially add on Burn and Confusion, I believe. I forget one of the 2, and then you would attach a wind-up arm and then be able to attack regardless of the confusion. And then you maybe tack on Actually, I don't think you can tack on poison, but you would be doing 200 damage regardless for no energy. This is here mostly for the Charizard matchup because it is weak to grass, and you're going to be doing 100 damage for free essentially. But also using super effective glasses, you are actually hitting 300 damage. That is a lot of damage. And now if you poison them as well, you actually do that extra 1 tick. But if Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, that is a mouthful, Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. But if you have this card on the field as well, that is an extra 2 ticks of damage for 330 damage in 1 attack, plus Pokemon checkup. So knockout on that Charizard EX. Again, this Hisuian Electrode, specifically for the Charizard matchup, but if you do need to attack something else for 100 damage, go right ahead. Other than that, we do have Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, 240 damage, poison it, and then if you're lucky and have no energy required to attack, 240, and then plus the extra 40 from a Binding Mochi if it's poison, 280 damage. That is knocking out a lot of V-Star Pokemon, like Regidrago V-Star. So this guy is going to be a menace as well. Now there are other cards like Pecharunt. This one is, honestly, it comes in handy every once in a while, I will say. So if this is in the active, your opponent's Pokemon take 5 more ticks of damage. So if you have this plus the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, and then you poison their active, let's say like 70 or 80 HP Pokemon, it is going to get knocked out. I have actually gotten a knockout this way on a, oh, what was it? Sableye, the Lost Mine Sableye this way. I'll show the clip as I'm talking about it, but it was actually ridiculous that we got this recorded at all. I was not expecting this ever to happen, but it does come up, so Pecharunt is a good way to get knockouts on that early turn like that. Moving on, we have some supporters here in the form of Lumineon V, Squawkabilly EX, and Pheasantipity EX. Some really good staple cards here, and speaking of which, I believe Squawkabilly EX is coming out in a trainer's toolkit for this year. Keep an eye out for a video coming out on that later on. Now that is all the Pokemon we're going to be covering and have in this deck. It was a 3 Klawf, 2 Brute Bonnet, 1 Bloodmoon, 1 Pecharunt, 1 Lumineon V, 1 Squawkabilly EX, 1 Pheasantipity EX, 1 Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, still a mouthful, and then 1 Hisuian Electrode V. Not as much of a mouthful. But let's move on to the supporters. We have 4 Arven. This is here to grab our Binding Mochi, super effective glasses, the rescue boards if we need to switch out things like Pheasantipity, Lumineon, Squawkabilly, or Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. We have super effective glasses that are obviously going to be going onto our Hisuian Electrode V. I was about to say Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, but Radiant Electrode V for those Charizard matchups. 4 Sealed Stone, of course, goes on to the well, actually, we have 2 this time around. I'm so used to only having Lumineon V as our 4 Sealed Stone option, but we do have Electrode V if necessary. But again, if you have the Benchless Guide for the 4 Sealed Stone, that's fine, but if you're in the Charizard matchup, try and save that spot open for the super effective glasses and use this on the Lumineon V. Then we have, going back because we were talking about Arven. We have Boss's Orders. We have 1 Colress's Tenacity. This is going to get you your Town Store or Artisan, and then one of your energies like the Double Turbo Energy or the Jet Energy. Going back up, we have 1 Carmine in case you do draw this, and you can draw, use it on your first turn and draw 5 new cards, or you can use them whenever and then also still discard your hand and draw 5 cards. We have 1 Iono, 4 Nest Balls, because if you look here, there's pretty much only basic Pokemon in this deck. We have 4 Ultra Balls. Of course, we still need some more search ability in this deck, so we do run the Ultra Balls. 3 Switch Cards, again, only basic Pokemon, so it makes sense to have Switch Cards instead of Switch Cards. We have 2 Night Stretchers, so we can grab Klawf or Brute Bonnet back. I have had to grab like Radiant Hisuian Sneasler or the Bloodmoon that way too. 2 Trekking Shoes. Secret Box is going to be our ace spec of choice because you can discard 3 cards, usually things you don't need for the early game, to set up your bench a bit better by getting that Pokemon tool, your supporter, your item card, and stadium all at once. And then we have 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 1 Energy Lotto, which I will say comes in handy every once in a while, but I don't like, the chance that comes with this card. Looking at the top 7, and if there's nothing there, it's kind of just a waste of an item card. We have 1 Lost Vacuum, 4 Ancient Booster Energy Capsules, which I did forget to talk about when we were talking about Arven. But those are all the cards. Again, recapping the rest of the cards because we were kind of skipping ahead with Arven. We have Binding Mochis, 3 of them, 2 Rescue Boards, 1 Super Effective Glasses, 1 4 Sealed Stone, and then for our stadiums, we have 2 Town Stores, 1 Artisan to grab our basic Pokemon, 4 Double Turbo Energy, and then 1 Jet Energy. I will say the Jet Energy does come in handy for the Bloodmoon, but for every other case, not so much. I've had to use it once in a practice game on Klawf, but then it still can't attack, so use it, again, mostly for switching in Bloodmoon, or if Bloodmoon's in the active and you need to switch it out, attach it to a Klawf or something that already can attack. So you'll have 3 energies on it, but at least that way something else won't get stuck in the active. Your highest retreat cards costs are going to be, of course, your Brute Bonnet with 3, your Bloodmoon with 3, and I believe everything else in the deck has a single retreat cost except for Klawf, but if you have Klawf in the active, obviously you're going to want to attack with it. But everything else you can attach maybe a rescue board if you do need to switch it out. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the board state, and then after that, we're gonna get into some gameplay. Okay, so this is what you want your board state to honestly look like, maybe turn 1 or 2. So having Klawf in the active with a double turbo energy and a binding mochi attached. Now, you may not want the binding mochi attached so early in case they knock it out. So if you wanted to, you could have that binding mochi still into your hand instead of having it attached. But of course, at some point it is going to go onto a Klawf, presumably your active one. For your Brute Bonnet, you're just going to have the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule attached, and then the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler on the bench. This is honestly all you really need for the setup to have an attacker ready to attack. This is already doing, I believe, 230 damage. It's a lot of damage. So again, 200 damage from the Klawf being poisoned. I don't know if there's a poison option on here, but let's assume it's poison. So now it's doing 180 minus 20 from the double turbo energy for 160, but plus 40 from the binding mochi for 200. And of course, the tick damage from the toxic powder plus the poison peak here, we're going to be doing an extra 30 on Pokemon checkup. So that's, and again, enough to knock out Fezandipity, opposing Hisuian Electro Vs, and some other low HP Pokemon like, I believe, Miraidon, Raikou V, and a few other like V Pokemon. But if you do need to set up some other stuff, my recommendations are to have an extra Klawf on the bench, with like maybe your Fezandipity, and if you had to use either Squawk or Lumineon for the turn as well, either one of those two. If you had to maybe grab your supporter to maybe play Colress's Tenacity to get your double turbo energy, and Town Store early on is what you really want to play for your stadium, because that gets you your binding mochi or your ancient booster energy capsule. Usually for your supporter, if you have to play the Colress to grab that, do it. But if you can use Arven, that does get you something like an Ultra Ball or a Nest Ball as well. And then of course that Pokemon tool, and then grabbing like the 4 Sealed Stone for the Lumineon, perfect, so you can use that and, you know, grab something else that way. I will say again, like I said earlier, Pecharunt does come in handy every once in a while, but it does have to be in the active spot to have its effect take effect. So it is kind of iffy, but in this case you are doing 80 tick damage, and that is enough to knock out those like basic Pokemon that evolve into Charizard EX, Dragapult EX, and maybe some other like heavy hitters like that. So that is an option if you need to start Pecharunt or you have it on the bench and there's no way you're going to be able to attack with the Klawf. Maybe you're missing that double turbo energy. You can at least maybe try and take a knockout that way. But keep in mind, if you do something like that, first poison your opponent's Pokemon and your Pokemon. That way, when you switch out using maybe like a switch cart, the poison disappears from the Klawf, so you don't take any tick damage on the Pecharunt if you had poisoned it. And remember, if you do have the Klawf ready to attack, you have it ready to attack, but it's on your bench, do not poison yet. Remember that you have to poison it, Klawf itself, and if you use toxic powder beforehand, before it's in the active, you're poisoning the active Pokemon. So when you switch it in, it is not going to be poisoned, and it's only going to be doing 10 damage because of the double turbo energy. So remember, you want to always have your Klawf in the active and then use toxic powder to poison it and the opposing Pokemon. Now for late game, like I said, you want to have your Bloodmoon Ursaluna on the bench. That guy can do a lot of damage, especially with the binding mochi. Hello, does the binding mochi not want to attach to it? There we go. With the binding mochi and no energy requirement, it is going to be doing 280 damage. This is a really strong late game attacker and very helpful when it comes to knockouts. I will say, if you need to do 260 damage, that is still enough for a Raikou V. Raging Bolt EX is what I was thinking of. But so keep that in mind. 240 damage, 260 damage knockout that way. And you can technically get a knockout even if it has a what's it called? If it has a bravery charm attached to it, the Raikou V turns into a 290 HP Pokemon. But because you're doing, let's say, 280 damage here, plus remember that tick of damage it's taking from being poisoned is 290 and knockout during Pokemon checkup. So you keep that in mind against the Raging Bolt matchup. Some other matchups to keep mind is this can knock out Regidragos. This guy will only hit, again, 230 plus the tick damage. So you're two-shotting a lot of Pokemon with Klawf. So you want to focus on two prizers. That's why it does run heavy on the boss's orders. I think we run 3, right? So I honestly, if I could make some suggestions, and I'll make them at the end. But if you're watching this right now, I will say getting rid of, the Energy Lotto instead of maybe a Pal Pad to grab boss's orders back might be a good idea. Just a suggestion real quick. I'll probably reiterate it at the end of the video. But yeah, that's just one quick suggestion. But yeah, your bench towards the end of the game should have Bloodmoon as an attacker with hopefully no energy requirement, and then your Klawf set up. If you can get a second Klawf going, let's say like the Lumineon got knocked out at some point, and you do actually have a double turbo energy and the extra Binding Mochi to have this guy already set up, that would be ideal. Just having like these two set up, and then maybe you don't have the Bloodmoon just yet, but this is a good bench because then Pheasantipede is still helping you with the flip the script. Honestly, one of the best cards. I would not be surprised if Pheasantipede EX comes in the Trainer's Toolkit 2025. But yeah, this is what you would expect your board state to be towards the late game, with maybe Bloodmoon ready to attack for free if possible. So let's go ahead and get into some games and show you how well this crab can do. Before we go on, why not get subscribed? It lets me know that you like this sort of video. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much, but double check because YouTube does unsubscribe people. Let's go first again. Also, if I look down, it's because I am soft resetting Pokemon a White 2 right now for a shiny Volcarona. I think currently around 1600 resets. They probably know what I'm playing by now. Okay, maybe they might not know. We might be able to do something here. Probably not. Let's put up Pecharunt. Let's see if Pecharunt can do some work here. But yeah, I would be interested to cover that. An Arceus V-Star Terapagos EX deck. That would be interesting. Ooh. Well, I mean, his star isn't actually not that bad, all things considering. Yeah, let's Hisuian Heavy Ball. Pheasantipede's in there. I kind of want to get you out of there. Okay, our Colress is in here too. Let's put Fez, Electrode, Force Sealed Stone. And I Force Sealed Stone for a Klawf and start setting up that way. Next turn I use Arven. Yeah, I think that's the way. You know what? I'm going to use a Nest Ball to grab the Klawf that way, thin out the deck a bit more. I don't want to set up Artisan, which I honestly would like to do, to get 2 cards in a row, but that does give them Artisan as well. So for now, just this for Klawf, and attach the DTE pass. Hopefully you get that Volcarona soon. Finally got my shiny Poipole and Ultra Sun. Let's go. I'd love to see that. Shiny Poipole. That's another one I would love to get. I'm assuming that one's also a reset thing, right? That is tough. I hope I get the chance to do that. I do have a copy of, I believe, Ultra Sun that I haven't played through. It was a used copy, so I can just reset it and use that as my playthrough for that one. So, might be doing it. We'll see. But yeah, this is full odds, unfortunately. It is just the level 35 one. Also, oh gosh, he is trying to hands. He lost one electric generator already, which is good. Going on to type null next. Oh, nice. Those are some good shinies. But yeah, no luck on my side over here for Volcarona. But I did get a chance to get both the shiny Zacian and Zamazenta from Pokemon Go, which I'll be transferring over to Home and then Sword and Shield at some point. Those are going to be some easy... What's the word? Easy Ribbon Masters to create. They only need the ones from Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, which aren't that many. I believe it's 4 total that it can get. So, I mean, really good shiny Ribbon Masters to have, though. They were only available in the game once. Back in, what, 2021? They won't have the classic ribbon, unfortunately. But that's alright. Wow, are they going to be able to get this off? If they do, it's going to be really annoying. But it's okay, because we just counter their whole deck with Klawf. We lose 2 prize cards here, but they're losing this Iron Hands. I think we knock it out. We'll be doing... What is it? It's 180 doubled. Yeah, we're knocking this guy out. So I'm okay with him taking this knockout. As long as we consistently get Klawfs up and they're powered up, we're fine. Yeah, we're easily hitting that 280. Unless they're gonna... Wait, they've already used a supporter, right? I feel like they have. Yeah, they've used Arvin. I was gonna say, unless they're gonna try and not boss up, but gust up the Klawf. That would be a good option. But I don't think they'll be doing that. Just still attaching. They're getting the Miraidon EX ready. Which, honestly, sure, go ahead. I can knock that out easily, too. It's all about just making sure I get consistently set up with Klawf. And right now, it's going to be a bit more difficult. Let's go ahead and get Nest Ball, Ancient Boost Energy Capsule. This will get our Brute Bonnet. And... Okay, so we have 2 more Klawfs. Good. Just wanted to double check that. Put the Booster Energy Capsule onto here. We're going to flip the script. See if we can get something for the Klawf or the Klawfs themselves. Okay, not the Klawfs. Kind of want to save the Bloodmoon right now, but let's first Trekking Shoes. You know what? I'm going to keep this. So I can discard both this and a boss. I kind of want to keep the boss. Oh man, this is a tough choice. I either get rid of boss or the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Because Bloodmoon could attack at some point. No, but I do like the Gusting right now. I can use a Night Stretcher. Alright, let's get a Klawf. Is our best choice right now. Alright, poison both. And now we're heading knockout. Get our 2 prize cards. And they don't have their Iron Hands anymore. Alright, switch card and an Ultra Ball. Not the stuff we really want to see. Okay, Iron Bundle, that's not good. They'll be able to gust something up. Everything we give him right now is going to be a knockout with that Miraidon. We'll put up Brute Bonnet. We can set up another one. Unless this is the only one we have in deck, which... I don't know if it is. I forgot to double check if I had more of them in the deck. I could have sworn I saw another one. Unless I'm completely wrong and then surprised. We still have Night Stretchers. What is Arvin getting them? Lost Vacuum. Okay. What are you getting rid of my Ancient Boost Energy Capsule? What are you doing? Or just getting ready to get rid of it. Or get rid of something. Probably getting rid of something. On the bright side right now is they don't have anything set up. So if we're able to get up the Brute Bonnet again, which honestly probably will happen, we can knock this guy out. They have nothing to... What a top deck. What a top deck. Okay, game. Okay, I see how it is. Thank you, game, so much. The top deck just to give me that Brute Bonnet. That is dirty, game. Unfortunate for him. What else do we want to do here? I really want another energy for this Klawf. I can use my Ultra Ball to get Lumineon for a Chorus's Tenacity. Never mind. Could have sworn I had it. Oh, it might be prized. I might be thinking of the previous game. I do have 3 of them in here. I could Iono. But that does require me to thin out a bit. I don't think I need Radiant Sneasler. Okay. Let's do that. Let's turn this off. Yeah, let's just turn that off. You don't need that. What do we do here? I kind of want to save the Binding Mochi for later, in case he does decide to try and... I don't know. I actually don't even know how he would get out of this. Let's put an item at the bottom of our deck, though. Something we don't need. I kind of feel like I need this. I'll grab the rescue board, just in case. Drop that onto Fez. And now we Iono. Hoping for an energy. Just to set up a Klawf. Ask and you shall receive. Poison up and we get the knockout. Another lucky game, honestly. Just a good matchup for us. Both this and Iron Thorns are pretty much auto wins if they can't stop us from setting up. I mean, what do they do here realistically to stop us? Bloodmoon, I suppose. That is an option. Yeah, I think that's probably their best option, just putting up Bloodmoon and using that to swing with. Okay, Academy at Night. Flipping the script. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a Bloodmoon turn here. I just realized we put both of our boss's orders at the bottom of the deck. Okay. I'm trying to remember the math here. With Klawf having a DTE, we're only doing, what is it? 180, 160. Even if we attach the, what is it called? Blanking on the name. The Binding Mochi. The Binding Mochi won't be doing enough. That will be doing 200, I believe. So we do need to just get a counter catcher, actually, and win. I believe is our game plan. Okay, there's the Binding Mochi if we need it. I'm just going to take a quick peek here. Okay, Colress's Tenacity and Arven. Once per turn, you may put a card from their hand to the top of their deck, which I'm not going to do. So let's... Arven, grab our... I could have sworn I had a counter catcher. Maybe this is a list that doesn't run it. I had a previous Klawf list that did. Well, I mean, we just go for our own Bloodmoon, honestly, right? And our Bloodmoon is in the discard. So, and we already had the Binding Mochi. We attack for free. Yeah, that's what we do. Alright, let's grab Ultra Ball right now. We're not going to use it, though. We're going to Night Stretcher. Bloodmoon. Put up Bloodmoon. Binding Mochi. We're going to Jet Energy. Put it up. Poison them both up, but now I'm doing an extra 40 damage for 280. There's the concede. Oh man, that was a good game, to say the least. They almost had it. They almost had it. There's just no good like Future Box deck right now. They really tried, but Ancient Box turned out to be the better of the two. Ooh, bad start for them. Especially going first. Frigibax. Okay. Is this Chin Pao? Chin Pao is a bit difficult for me to knock out. Oh, okay. It is Greninja. That's a bit tougher. If I get Binding Mochi, I do get knockout on this guy. Let's go for Brute Bonnet here. Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Klawf. Squawkabilly. Yeah. Why not? Because we can Arven grab our Binding Mochi. Another Nest Ball, why not? So we can set up another Klawf. Binding Mochi goes there. Nest Ball goes up. For another Klawf. And now we can Squawk and Seize. For another Klawf. I mean, I don't see why not. I think I'm gonna put up Fez actually, and Klawf. I wasn't going to put Klawf up, but I figure I might as well. Before I attack, obviously got a Toxic Powder. We're hitting Knockout now. To be fair, we didn't need to put the Binding Mochi on it, because it would hit 160, and then the poison would take it out. Electrode is good. Actually, what is the Greninja weak to? Shoot, I do not remember. I do not think it's grass. But if it is grass, Hisuian Electrode is about to really wreck it. Unfortunately, not as much as we would want to. There's a Grand Tree. We're gonna Lost Vacuum next turn for that. He does do 170 damage with it. With I forget what it's called. I think is it just called Water Shuriken? Shinobi Blade, that's what it is. Also, it's weak to Psychic. I mean, we could get rid of the other Froakie. What do we do here? Klawf, we need a double turbo energy. Or we can go with Electrode. To be fair. It only does 100 damage though. With the Binding Mochi, it will do more though. Let's first flip the script. See what we get here. Okay, there's a double turbo. So we could double turbo and hit for 160. But I kind of want to get rid of that Froakie, I'll be honest. Do I go for the Froakie and then focus down the Greninja later? Mirage does 120. Oh, that's not good. Also, an Iono would be nice just to get rid of whatever he might have gotten into his hand. Yeah, man, I don't know if to attack this Froakie or Iono his hand. I think the best thing to do right now is Iono. Before we do that, getting rid of this Grand Tree. We don't want this here. I want to say he was going to use the Grand Tree the next turn to set up that Froakie. So let's go ahead. Iono. Puts me to a lower hand, but that's fine. We got another boss. I'll hold on to these cards. Oops. Toxic Powder. Hopefully we didn't just Iono him into a double turbo energy. Okay. This does a total of 120 damage. 180. I don't know why I said 120. If he knocks us out, that's only one prize card. Frigibax. I want to say he's going to be a lot more dependent. He was a lot more dependent on that Grand Tree this early game right now. Oh, another Iono. I mean, if it gets us a double turbo energy, I'm fine with it. That is not a double turbo energy. What can they get us though? It is disappointing that Electro can only get one status condition on it nowadays. I could put up Squawk and attach Rescue Board to it. Or even Pheasant Dipping and attach Rescue Board to it. That way I don't have to commit either to Electrode or Klawf yet. I think that's the correct thing to do in sequencing. He's at 190. So if I'm able to get Hisuian Sneasler, I could use Electro to attack it. I could also use Klawf, but I want to keep Klawf as a backup here. Let's go with the Energy Lotto. Do we secret box here? No. Let's get the Binding Mochi. Sneasler is here. This at least thins also. Alright, Nest Ball. We're gonna get Sneasler. I think we're gonna commit to Electrode. That'll put him at 290. The extra 3 ticks will put him at 320. Let's first flip the script, and then we'll Energy Lotto. Okay, good. Now let's Energy Lotto. No hits. Okay. We'll drop the Binding Mochi. Retreat. Electrode up. Toxic Powder. And now he gets knocked out on Pokemon Checkup. $320, that's a knockout. Now the issue is going to be his other Greninja EX he's about to set up. We either get knockouts on a 2-prizer he sets up, or take 2 turns to knock that out. He's about to have 2 energies attached to it. He could, or sorry, 3 energies. He could go with, I forget what the attack name is. Mirage Barrage. You would discard 2 and then put 120 damage counters, knocking out my Klawf and setting up on maybe like Pheasantipity or Squawkabilly. Unless he just Shinobi Blades here. That would be ideal for us. He discarded a boss, okay. I'm really hoping he doesn't have that energy. If it's just a Shinobi Blade, we have a higher chance of winning this. Yes, okay. I like that. Definitely a higher chance of winning this right now. Because we can 2-shot him. He doesn't have anything else set up. We do go down. Oh, well, he's gonna have to attack us. I really don't like committing this right now, because I know it's gonna get knocked out. Toxic Powder. Do I use any of this? I'm gonna say no. I hold on to them. Because I need a Night Stretcher too. To grab one of our Klawfs back later. I think we can just Lumineon for that. Okay. This puts him at 130 damage. It'll put him at 160 next turn. We could technically knock him out with a Bloodmoon as well. There's a boss. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Pheasantipity is weak to fighting. He knocks out Pheasantipity and our Electrode for game. That's how he wins. Oh, man. Okay. I was not expecting that one. I was not expecting the... I was not expecting that either. Do I have a boss? I have 3 bosses somewhere in my deck. He had the energy, right? Am I silly? Hold on. He drew a card, put me into the active. Why did he do that? Someone needs to explain this to me. Why did he just throw? He definitely just threw his game. Because now I knock him out with my Klawf. Am I wrong here? No, right? That is doing more than enough damage. What? Did he not have the energy that he needed? Maybe that's what it was. I might have to go back and look at the footage because I could have sworn he could have knocked me out there. But I guess that's game. A really close one at there, but sure, we'll take the win. And so that was Klawf. I'm so used to saying something after the name of the Pokemon, like EX or V star, but it is just Klawf. It is great to see some single prize Pokemon do so well in the format. It does have some hard matchups, I will say. In some practice games against like Gardevoir EX, it doesn't do that well because it's 120 HP, and then the Monkey Dories can put a lot of damage onto it, plus the poison tick damage can go onto it too. But either way, it is a good card. It has a really good matchup against a lot of the electric decks going around right now, and even some of the other ones that doesn't hit super effective against, it can hit those numbers pretty much perfectly. But yeah, Klawf is a menace, and it is a card to be reckoned with. So keep it in mind if you're thinking about honestly a budget deck to try out. As you can kind of see here on the price, it is under $50. A budget deck like this that can get some good results. And I believe in the past regionals, it's actually done pretty well. It's had some pretty high placements here and there, and even some online tournaments. So this is definitely a good contender for like a good budget deck. So I suggest definitely try this out if you can make it on Pokemon TCG Live, or if you're considering something like more of a casual deck to try out, this might be it. Honestly, I do like poison effects a lot. I don't know why, but it just calls to me. The damage counter setting and then like just making sure the math hits just reminds me so much of one of my favorite decks ever, Rapid Strike Urshifu with that Medicham V and Alakazam, Radiant Alakazam. But I don't know. Klawf, somehow for some reason this crab reminds me of a giant bear. Speaking of giant bear. Anyways, I think you should try it out. It is a fun deck. I will say, like I mentioned earlier in the board state part of the video, I don't know how much the Energy Lotto is helpful, and because we are going to be trying to boss up a lot of cards to knock out with the Klawf, hitting that 200 damage if it has the Binding Mochi and is poisoned, I think maybe switching the Energy Lotto for a Pal Pad might be a good idea. Just that way we can grab Boss's Orders back, or if we need to, we can grab Colress's Tenacity and Iono or Carmine. Honestly, Carmine doesn't see a lot of play in this deck, in my opinion, compared to some of the other cards like Arven and Iono, Boss's Orders, and Colress's Tenacity, to be honest. It is a good draw support, but it's not the best. Honestly, I could see this getting replaced with a Professor's Research for the extra 2 cards, and just losing the effect that you can use this if you're going on your first turn. If you're going first, that extra caveat might be the reason I switched this into Professor's Research instead. But yeah, that's just another option. So If you wanted to make some alterations that I suggest, changing Energy Lotto into a Pal Pad, and then of course switching Carmine into a Professor's Research. Everything else in this deck seems pretty sound in my opinion. 3 Klawf is fine because we do run the Night Stretchers, and because of those Night Stretchers, again, we don't have to worry about the Blood Moon so much, or if they knock out something like the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. But yeah, I think this is a great deck to try out. But of course, let me know what you think about this deck. Do you like Klawf? It is a great single prizer deck, and of course it has Bloodmoon Ursaluna as a double prizer, and of course Electrode. We didn't get to see Electrode, unfortunately. Not too many Charizards for some reason. People are leaning towards Dragapult right now, but it is what it is. But either way, Klawf is a really strong single prize attacker deck, and I think you should try it out. But like I said, let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And of course, while you're down there, why not get subscribed? We are almost to our goal for this year of 3,000 subscribers, and I would love it if you would join us on that journey. If you're interested, of course, in Pokemon TCG, Pokemon video game, and almost anything Pokemon related, definitely get subscribed. We have a lot of content on the channel already, and we're always releasing new stuff every week. Anyways, guys, as always, stay safe, and thanks for watching.